I think it's about time we say goodbye to some books. Hi everyone, Mariah here and welcome back to my channel. So a little while ago now, all the way back in March, I decided to go through my bookshelves. I have my main one that you can see behind me, but then I have a smaller one over in the corner. It's just kind of like a little 3x3 cubed cabinet, which has a lot of my TBR and charity shop books on. I went through them all and I've decided to just pick out the books that I really don't think I'm going to be reading anytime soon or just aren't really my genre anymore. I've dabbled in and out of quite a few genres over the last few years and I've kind of nailed it down to loving fantasy, thrillers, romance, but very specific romance. I love kind of corny romance and historical romance, and I also absolutely love historical fiction as well. So those kind of are my go-to genres. So the books that I have here are ones that just aren't really my thing anymore, or I just don't think I'll get round to. In my eyes, I can always go back and pick up a book if I really want to read it, so I don't have any regrets about getting rid of these books. At least I don't right now. The good news is that a lot of these books are either from charity shops anyway, or were really, really cheap or part of bundles. So it's not like I'm even wasting money because they're gonna go to people who want to read them and I barely spent that much money on them. So that's always a good thing. To either convince me to read these books and tell me your thoughts and feelings, or bye-bye. I also just want to preference by saying as well that if I explain that these books aren't really kind of my thing, it's not because I think anyone else should feel the same way. You can enjoy whatever genre you want to. I would never judge anyone for the genres that they read. It's just purely opinion based, and these books just personally aren't my type of thing anymore, or I'm not as interested in them, or they're just not priority on my TBR. Yeah, no judgment on my end, I promise. So I have a maybe pile, and these are books where I'm kind of umming and ahhing about them, and then I have a definite pile, and these are the ones that are definitely gonna get waved goodbye. So get comfy, get cozy, and let's unhaul some books. So starting off with the maybe pile. So first book is Northern Lights. And the reason why I'm so ahhing about this book is because when I read it in the charity shop, it did sound like a book that would be fun to read, especially maybe kind of during winter times. It kind of gave me the vibes of wanting to go back to a nostalgic film or book. Things like Narnia, Never Ending Story, but realistically speaking, I just haven't thought about this book. I really don't know whether I will get round to reading this, so I might keep this until winter, and if I still haven't read it by then I'll get rid of it. Next up is Luminaries. I picked this book up because I will admit I was very much drawn to the cover, but when I read it, it did genuinely sound like a really interesting book. And I picked it up, I think it was around summertime a couple of years ago, and I expected to read it in the fall. However, still haven't read it. I've also seen this book pop up a few times lately and I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I'm starting to kind of edge in towards reading it, hopefully this year. Again, bit like Northern Lights, if I haven't read this by the end of the year, especially during autumn, I will donate it. Now, these books might ruffle some feathers a little bit. Never After series. So I picked these books up because they were in the works. I think all 5 of them, Hooked is somewhere over there, but just imagine that it's here. All 5 of them, I think, were like £10 or something like that. And the reason why I got them is because I was actually very much interested in reading them at the time. And I do have Hooked as well, it's over there. So Peter Pan is one of my favorite Disney films. So that is why I wanted to read at least that one. But I kind of wanted to dabble into the others, but honestly, I've just had no to actually want to pick up and read the rest of them. It's not that I think they were bad. I think Hook was a really good and easy read, but for me, dark romance just isn't my thing. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what these books are about, so you don't have to read all of them in any order, you know, you can read them as standalone. They are basically taking the story and the villains out of Disney films and writing a romance out of them. And they are very interesting, and I love the twists that they put on the story and the characters, and I love all of the references and everything as well. But for me, I just don't think this is my kind of genre. The reason why I wanted these books is because I was really drawn to the idea that there was like a Disney twist put on the books. And whilst they're not direct retellings, there are just Disney references and character names throughout the story. I don't know. I think other than Hooked, I don't think I actually really care for the rest of them. I've not been interested in going back to them. Like I said, it's not because they're bad. I just don't think it's my type of genre. So yeah, realistically, I probably will end up giving these away. So going into my definite pile now, I have 8 books here. So starting off at the top, we have Harlan Coben's Deal Breaker. However, this is purely just because it's a duplicate. I have so many Harlan Coben books and I always find them in charity shops, and my friends do as well. So anytime someone sees a Harlan Coben book, they'll just pick it up for me. But I don't have a list of ones I already own, and I really should just make one. But it means I end up just buying them and then I end up with duplicates. So that's why that one's going. If you're not familiar with Harlan Coben, I definitely recommend him. He's an auto by author for me, and he's a thriller author. I definitely recommend his series on Netflix as well. That's how I got into finding out about his books. I highly recommend The Stranger. It's one of my favorite ones, really, really good. And I can't wait to dabble into more of his books. I have read a couple of others, but yeah, got some really good ones. So definitely recommend. Thieves Gambit. I have no idea if this is my kind of thing or not. I think this was one of the first books I picked up a couple of years ago when I was kind of getting back into reading again, but I still haven't read it. So for me, that just shows I don't have as much of an interest in it as I thought I was going to. Not because I think it's going to be bad or anything, I just simply haven't had any interest in picking it up and reading it. So yeah, there's no point in keeping it if I don't think I'm going to get to it anytime soon. This one was a very random one for me, and it is The Cozy Cottage in Ireland. And I purely picked this up because I thought it was kind of giving me really cute romantic vibes, but again, I just haven't got to it. I was debating whether to read this later on in the year. It just felt like a really easy read, but again, I've just got so many other books that I want to get to. I just don't think it's on my priorities. So again, I'm kind of not that worried about getting to it. It does sound really, really cozy though, but yeah, I don't know. Now, before you come at me, it's purely just because it's a duplicate. So this is The Night Circus, and this is a very high priority on my TBR. I absolutely love carnivals so much, and I absolutely love them when they're implemented into books. It's one of the reasons why I love Caraval as well. There's just something really magical and mysterious about them. I also absolutely love them in horrors, whether it's a book or a movie. Bonus points if it's in a video game. But yeah, I picked this up because I really loved the sound of it. It's a romance, and at the time I found it in a charity shop and I didn't buy it and I regretted it. And when I went back to buy it, do you think it was there? No. I also couldn't find it for a really, really long time, but I wanted one of the older covers. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait for it. About a month went by, still couldn't find one. So I gave up and just went and got it from Waterstones. I think I had a £10 voucher. And then I found an older cover in the charity shop. Of course I did. It was a little bit later after this, so I don't think I had the chance to return this and swap it for another book. But I'm going to give this to someone who wants it, and then I'll just keep my charity shop version. It's a beautiful cover. I don't need to, so it's going to go to someone who wants it. My Dark Romeo. I just don't think these type of books are really for me. I picked this up because I was with my friend in the works and we were like, should we both buddy read it? But I did actually start reading it whilst I was waiting for another book to arrive. But I just wasn't really vibing with the characters and the whole like really grumpy billionaires and like the really kind of stuck up. I just wasn't really vibing with it. It's probably a great story. Again, I'm more of a soppy romance and like historical romance. I love a romance that makes me cry. So yeah, I don't think it's my kind of thing. Now, this is a book I actually have read, and it's None of This Is True by Lisa Joelle, and this is a thriller. This is actually a really gripping book. I did really enjoy the overall concept of the story, but for me, I just had a few things that really ruffled my feathers a little bit. So the story follows two main characters. One of them is a woman who is a very well-known podcaster in London. She does a lot of podcasts on women and inspirational stories. And then the other lady is I believe she's like a seamstress, or she works with clothes, something like that. And she is very quiet, but she has a very troubled life. And one day the two bump into each other in the girls' bathroom and they kind of start talking with each other. And she says to the podcaster, I'm a big fan. I'd love to be on one of your podcasts one day. And she's like, do you know what? Yeah, sure. Why not? Like, I'm sure everyone is interested in some way. You can come by my house and we'll get interviewing. So the two kind of start talking, and that is when the podcaster, I've completely forgotten their names, I'm so sorry. She begins to kind of realize there's a lot of dark secrets about this woman's life, and she slowly starts unraveling things, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm letting this person into my house, and there are some really dark things about this person. I really liked kind of the interview format of this book. So there are kind of Netflix dialogues throughout the story and little snippets, and it will say something like screen fades from black, and then it will say person X sat on the couch, and then it will do like a little interview type style. So it will say that something has happened, and it will say, oh, how did you know this person? Or did you ever really know what she was like? And it will kind of give you some dialogue, and then it will throw you back into the present. So you know that bad things have happened, but then it will throw you back to the present between the two women. And yeah, it's really well written, but I really didn't get along with a lot of characters in this book, especially the husband. Oh my gosh, or just thinking about him makes me want to projectile vomit. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, I'm not too sure, but it's an open-ended story. It very heavily relies on unreliable narrator, and I just didn't like that there wasn't really any closure to the story as to what really happened or what was really going on. Oh, it was just, I don't know, it was something just wasn't quite right for me. So because I didn't thoroughly enjoy it and it's not a book I really mind keeping, I'd rather donate it and someone can pick this up and give it a go, because hopefully they'll like it more than me. So the next book I'm saying goodbye to is Collide, and this is a sports romance. This is also the sprayed edge one as well. It's pretty nice colours actually. So again, I just don't know if sports romance is my thing. I've read Icebreaker in the past and it was an easy read. Like, did I love it? No, but was it an easy and enjoyable read? Yeah, it was all right. But for me, I struggle with the writing style sometimes, like the word choices and just some of the way that the spice is written out. I'm just kind of like iffy about it. I don't know. I mean, they're not bad. And I'm not saying that once you've read one, you've read them all, but I'm just worried that I'm not really going to enjoy them as much as other people. So again, I'd just rather give the opportunity to someone else to have this book, and especially because it's a sprayed edge version as well. I was umming and ahhing about this one, but again, I am very specific with my romances. I got it because I wanted to kind of give more sports romances a go, but I don't know, I just haven't really been drawn to reading it, so I'd just rather give it to someone who would like it. And then last but certainly not least, we have a very chunky book, and it is Little Life, and this is a very well-known book. I found this in the charity shop for £2, so that's why I picked it up, because it was so cheap, and so many people have said both really good things and kind of bad things about this book. I know that it's very traumatizing, and I know difficult books for some people can be very hard to read, but for me, those difficult books are the ones that tend to stick with me. I think they can be very eye-opening, and that's why I wanted to read it. But honestly, I think just the size alone really terrifies me. I also suffer quite badly with headaches and migraines, and the text is quite small, so that's another reason why I'm a little bit hesitant on reading it. Not only that, I've been told by a friend who did start to read this, apparently it's quite difficult to keep up with who it's talking about in the book. I think there's several characters, and I don't really want to feel confused reading books like this, especially if they're already quite hard to read because of what topics come about in the book. Again, realistically, I just don't think I'm going to get to it anytime soon. And if I did ever want to read it, I definitely think it's going to have to be a Kindle read, unfortunately. So yeah, that's why this one is going to go as well. And that, my friends, is my unhaul done. It does feel good to have a bit of an unhaul, because I really didn't like keeping all of these books when I just knew that I wouldn't really get around to reading them anytime soon, and it means that somebody else can enjoy them a lot more than me. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books, or if you want to try and convince me to read them, absolutely go ahead and do so. Have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.